Catechism of the Catholic Church, Life in Christ, the Theological Virtues, Charity, number 1822. Charity is the theological virtue by which we love God above all things for his own sake and our neighbor as ourselves for the love of God. Jesus makes charity the new commandment. John 13, verse 34. By loving his own to the end, John 13, he makes manifest the Father's love which he receives. By loving one another, the disciples imitate the love of Jesus which they themselves receive. Whence Jesus says, "As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you, abide in my love." And again, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." John 15. Fruit of the Spirit and fullness of the law, charity keeps the commandments of God and his Christ. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love. John 15 and Matthew chapter 22, verse 40. Romans chapter 30, verse 8 to 10. Christ died out of love for us, while we were still enemies. Romans 5:10. The Lord asks us to love as he does, even our enemies, to make ourselves the neighbor of those farthest away, and to love children and the poor as Christ himself. Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. The Apostle Paul has given an incomparable depiction of charity. Quote, "Charity is patient and kind. Charity is not jealous or boastful. It is not arrogant or rude. Charity does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrong, but rejoices in the light. Charity bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things." 1 Corinthians chapter 13. "If I have not charity," says the apostle, "I am nothing. Whatever my privilege, service, or even virtue, if I have not charity, I gain nothing." Charity is superior to all the virtues. It is the first of the theological virtues. So faith, hope, charity abide. These three. But the greatest of these is charity. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13. The practice of all the virtues is animated and inspired by charity, which binds everything together in perfect harmony. Colossians 3:14. It is the form of the virtues. It articulates and orders them among themselves. It is the source and the goal of their Christian practice. Charity upholds and purifies our human ability to love and raises it to the supernatural perfection of divine love. The practice of the moral life animated by charity gives to the Christian the spiritual freedom of the children of God. He no longer stands before God as a slave in servile fear or as a mercenary looking for wages, but as a son responding to the love of him who first loved us. 1 John chapter 4, verse 19. And quote from Saint Basil, "If we turn away from evil out of fear of punishment, we are in the position of slaves. If we pursue the enticement of wages, we resemble mercenaries. Finally, if we obey for the sake of the good itself and out of love for him who commands, we are in the position of children." End of quote. The fruits of charity are joy, peace, and mercy. Charity demands beneficence and fraternal correction. It is benevolence. It fosters reciprocity and remains disinterested and generous. It is friendship and communion. Quote, love is itself the fulfillment of all our works. There is the goal, that is why we run toward it, and once we reach it, in it we shall find rest. It was a quote from St. Augustine.